Admit, when I woke up this morning, it felt like Friday. It was kind of weird, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. How was everyone's week? Kimmers, it's good to see you. And yeah, Sam was feeling better today. He just woke up with a really bad headache yesterday. And like, I've had that before and I hate that feeling. So we just took an extra day off and it was super nice. I made him a really good tea and I think that is what helped a lot. And we are back today. Welcome in, yet it is. Hello, Michael. Thanks for keeping us updated on your first Twitch stream, dude. That is so exciting. I hope it goes good. Hope you don't burn your face off with all those peppers. That's insane. Hi, Boris. Welcome. I gotta look this up too, those lollipops. Maddie's Holy Cowlick Black Death Edition. What is this? I've dabbled in a bit of spicy things before, but I do know that whenever there's extract involved, it is insanely spicy. To the point where you don't taste much, it's only burning. Burning feeling. It's called the League of Fire Challenge products. Okay. Maddie's Holy Cowlick. How long have you been doing this? Eating hot pepper things and such. You saw Smokey Cheeseburgers and ran here, Tony? I love it. Are you out of breath now or what? Island J Mew 2000. Good afternoon, friends. It's good to be back today. Sorry we missed you all yesterday. Oh, I see it. I see the lollipop. Other people have done the challenge too. How fun. How fun. If it's hot going in, yeah, it's gonna be hotter coming out. We all know it. We all know it. Prepare yourself, right? Oh my goodness, we're hilarious. Okay, guys, we are back today with, let's say, like a half and half stream. Yes, we have a HelloFresh sponsored stream still. They are sponsoring us into September as well. And then we're also going to cross off a Pots and Pans menu redemption from my husband, Omdog, Samo, however you know him by, in the stream. And it was a really simple one, so I thought I would pair it with HelloFresh because usually those meals are pretty quick and easy to make on their own. So just to make the stream a little bit longer, and we'll learn another thing together, we'll make a couple loaves of sourdough multigrain bread today. I fed my starter this morning. She's all happy. Michael, the record is 6 at the moment. Like, you have to eat 6 of those in one sitting. You got 4, and it'll be the first time for you to do the challenge. Holy smokes. Greek, how are you doing? Welcome in. We have a pretty, like, chill day as far as weather-wise goes. Like kind of cloudy, kind of sunny, not too hot though. I don't know about where you guys are, but I think we are done with the super hot days here. It's sitting around 20 degrees Celsius and that's about it. That's our average. That's our high. Winter is coming already. Sad to say. Although I have started to enjoy winter as I get older, so there's that too. Also working on some coffee still, guys. Okay, gonna post the menu up and a couple of recipes too. That is one thing I really love about HelloFresh is, yes, they send you the recipe cards with your meal so that you can reference them. Like, for example, this week we made this together, Sam and myself. And since both of us were working on this and like we couldn't find a good place to put the recipe card, we just put a magnet on the fridge and posted it here. Because like I was working on this side of the kitchen and he was over here at the cutting board, and then we could easily just turn around and reference it together, and we had it prepped in like 10 minutes. It was amazing. But they also, like I said, if you're someone who's kind of like minimalist, doesn't keep a lot of paper products and stuff in the house, they link everything online. And then I love it for you guys, right? Is I inspire you making this meal And then you could always just reference that recipe for yourself. Go get the ingredients if at the moment you're not doing a HelloFresh thing. It's been very hot where you are, Island. Got above 100 F this week still. Holy smokes. It's still really hot there, Greek. Oh, interesting. Me too. Yet it is like the excitement I felt pulling out my jogger sweatpants last week for the first time. It's like, yes, we are ready for cozy season again. Okay, Michael says you have to keep it in your mouth for 10 minutes, 1 minute burn time, and then put the next lollipop in with the other one and then continue to process it like that. Whoa. And then you probably have to let them all melt away. And that's the challenge. Crazy. I think we're all kind of feeling that, hey? We're so ready for fall to come. It was a pretty hot summer, though, in a lot of places again. Not as hot as some other seasons, but still, right? It's just a really nice season, especially if you live somewhere where like the colors of the leaves on the trees change and stuff like that. Okay, I think first things first, we will start by making our bread dough and letting that start to proof. That is one of the longest processes today, or we can say it is the longest process today, is making our bread. And then in between making our bread, forming our loaves, we will work on our lunchy today, guys. And if we have any Canadians watching, please feel free to use my code if you have used HelloFresh before, or even if you haven't, definitely check it out. It will save you money, 20 free meals plus free shipping on your first box. That's pretty amazing. I mean, anytime we can save money on groceries, we're always gonna take advantage of that, right? First things first is a sub up. Oh, I was like, what's that? Nice, dude. And we're almost there at a Twitch food, baby. 8 months in a row, friends with Michael. That's when he joined us, 8 months ago already. Where does the time go, man? It just feels like you did your 6 months. Don't know what happened to the 7th month. That's funny. I noticed just now that my music has randomly paused on the player and it's making me sign in to iTunes in the middle of stream. So just give me a second. So it was very quiet and I will take care of that. Why are you like this today? Everything else worked perfect. It's gonna mess up my camera because I have to look at the password. You know when you have different passwords for every single site because they always make you change them? Yeah. Okay. Hello? Music? You silly willy iTunes. Thanks. Thank you. We're back. Okay. Look at that. Music's back. Awesome. Okay, looking at our recipes for the day. It's working, everyone. It's working. Oh, and I wanted to say, I was looking at the riverboat because we have to still go buy tickets and do that stream together one of these times from our bit goal. It is sold out this weekend because I totally forgot that it was a long weekend for Labor Day. We were thinking maybe we would go tomorrow with you guys, but yeah, it's fully sold out on this Sunday. So next weekend, I think we'll go on the riverboat into September. It should be a lot quieter too, right? Because a lot of more people will be back to school, back to work, all that fun stuff. I'm excited though. I think it'll be really fun. Okay, our multigrain sourdough discard bread. We've made this before on stream and Sam loved it. So then he requested it again. Here's our lovely Goldilocks number 4. You could see she's starting to bubble up. But she's not fully active yet from when I fed her. She will go all the way up to the top of this container. And then I also have a little bit from what I took out before I fed this morning. So that's what we'll use for the sourdough part. And this bread is a quick sourdough bread because we are using a discard version of the starter versus a fed version of the starter, which is going to actually help your bread rise, versus when we just use the discard, it's more in there for flavor and health properties, but it's not going to help the bread rise. It lost like all of its active yeast properties already by this point, so we do have to add our own yeast into this, and that's really the only time that you'll be able to make like a quick sourdough bread. Otherwise, it's typically a 24-hour process start to finish. But this was so good when we made it. It makes 2 loaves, which is also why I loved it. So went this morning, picked up some more sunflower seeds bulk, and they were actually on sale, so that was good. I kind of stocked up since we like this bread, and that way I can make it again. Hi Scoots, how are you doing? Welcome. And so the multigrain bread has oats, sunflower seeds. I switch out the flax for walnut. And then I also switch out the poppy seeds for chia seeds. And you guys are more than welcome to choose whatever seeds and nuts you want in your multigrain bread, but that's what I used last time, and it was very good. And then there's just a little bit of sugar, like I said, the yeast, our discard, salt, some olive oil, and then both white flour and whole wheat flour too. So let us, I guess, get our mixer over here and set up, and then we'll get this dough going. It's pretty interesting when you make a multigrain bread is we kind of gather all of our seeds and nuts first and then boil water and pour that over the seeds and nuts until it's cooled enough to mix the bread dough. And that just helps hydrate the seeds and nuts so that when we mix it into the bread, it doesn't make the bread really dry. One note on this recipe, I think I remember last time we made it, I had to add a little bit extra water because I felt that the mixture of seeds and nuts that I used absorbed a lot more water than it should have, so just added extra. That's the only thing I can remember though. So I'll just write on our list before we start bread. I'll just say dough. And then our first proof, we always wait for it to double in size. Usually it takes an hour when you're using yeast in your bread. If this was just straight sourdough, it might take like 8 to 12 hours. Long time. Okay, so we'll make our dough, we'll proof it in an hour, we'll divide it. We can take our bread pans out. This is a bit more of a dense style bread, at least when I made it last time. So these aren't massive loaf pans. And then after we divide it, we let the dough proof again until it's even with the top of the pan. That usually doesn't take a full hour. Closer, I usually check around 15 minutes, but it could take up to 30. And then in that time, that's where we get our oven ready for the bread. It takes a little bit to heat up. Holy shit, Annie. Holy! Holy! I need like chicken wings falling from the sky or something when we play this song. Samo says we need to make it happen. Okay, 4:25. While everyone's coming in from the sub. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. For like 30 minutes. Greek. I hear the song. What happened? We're living a good life, man. We're making our way through. Couple more, guys. This song always gets me in a better mood. I seriously can't make this up. Annie's leaving us soon. Okay, last one. Okay, guys, we're blessed with an Annie presence first thing on the stream, and thank you very much for the 10 gifted subbies. He just crushed the goal for the whole stream. We're done. Set. Thank you very much. You're now at 990 gifted subs of the channel over these last, what, 6 years? Wow. What? Welcome into the kitchen crew. We got the Simple Sprinkle, Vit Joker, a Recipe Reborn, which is also a fantastic streamer, Marshall R. Jackson, the Atomic Pirate Girl, Derp Squad Dave, we know him, Drink More Cook Less, we know that one, Elrad24, we know that one too, RYU Long 67, and Cryptic Prior. Hello, welcome, I hope you are all well. That's what I was thinking. Got a whole bucket of chicken wings. Okay, how do we make this part of the alert? I gotta figure this out after stream. I gotta get a chicken bucket, and then for each sub, a chicken wing falls through the sky into the bucket. Sambo, you got some homework to do while you're over there. Annie, I'm driving down to my mom's in about an hour for the holiday weekend. Do you guys have anything fun planned, or you're just going to hang out before you go back to school? That's genius. I know we did. We were both like gave each other shit this morning because we talked about kind of redoing the stream this week together because it's been kind of weird on and off, but that did not happen. Oh yeah, Sam actually worked on his own computer issue, so we fixed one thing. I guess we'll work on the next one. 6.3 years from when you got the sub button, Greek. That's a long time. You're going to a Korean restaurant tonight, so you're gonna have some bulgogi or what? If I know Annie, he's requested that on a pots and pans menu before. Perhaps? We've been on a Korean food kick here as well. And I've had zero bad experiences with all of the dishes we've made. So delicious. That's not OG stream in Greek says, that's just when you got the sub button for my page. All the way back then. And here we are still. Okay, before we got all of our subbies, we were going through our prep list and went through how to make our sourdough multigrain bread. So that's all good to go. Let's look at our HelloFresh just to look over. We'll mostly just reference the recipe card later. I need to see if there's anything fancy that we need to know first. I know we'll be making our own burgers for the HelloFresh. We have to make like a Smokey barbecue mayo, cut up the potatoes for the wedges, caramelize onions, and I think that's pretty much it. So pretty simple. I think once we get our bread going, we'll be good to get rolling through the rest. Oh yeah, bibimbap is always good too. Greek, you feel old now. Oh please. Oh please, guys. Dave's here. You got a subby. I love it. And that is, yeah, 10 more people who don't have ads. Also, we can say, Annie, it's September. So you saved money on those subs, didn't you? Oh no, only if they're a new sub, right? Only if they're a new sub. Okay, just quickly on the list before I put it aside. After the bread, I'm just putting wedges and burger patties. Caramelized onions. And then the mayo is really the only things we have to prep. You save 10 bucks. Boom. I love it. Greek, isn't that your meal redemption? I think it is actually bibimbap with pineapple upside down cake. Yeah. We're rolling through them. I have a bunch stacked up again, which I actually love so much. This is coffee. It's not even water. The coffee tastes like almost like coffee crisp today, guys. Okay. Bread recipe. Like I said, we measure out... Oh no, what was that person gonna do? We measure out all of our seeds and nuts into our mixing bowl for the bread, and then pour our boiling water over that. And we'll measure out the water. So first, I'll just get the kettle filled and started while we get our seeds and nuts out and the mixer. And it didn't take super long to cool the water off. It really helped when we like kept the mixture moving to let all the hot steam out. That made it cool off quicker. Person or a bot? For sure, probably a bot, hey? Okay, bread pans. I got my flour bags over here, but first, I gotta dig out this beast. Just the standard cheap viewers nonsense, Annie says. It's my favorite. Okay, we don't have to use the scale for any of this recipe today. It's an American-based recipe, so it's all in cups and like tablespoons. Get the mixing bowl. Is anyone else doing anything fun for the long weekend? Just working? I know, right? We're all so boring like that. We'll let everyone else do all the fun stuff, hey Titan? You went to your local fair yesterday? That's fun. I love those sorts of things. What was like something that stood out to you when you went? All right. Mixer is set up. Now we can start measuring everything we need into there. So oats, sunflower seeds, chia, and walnut. The walnut is really good in this. Adds awesome crunch, so we'll have to cut that up or chop it up a bit. Sunflower. Where's my chia? Chia wouldn't want to be what the heck? Where'd it go? I don't think we used it all up. Did it disappear? Kate's blind. Oh, I found it. It's hiding behind the cornstarch, see? See? It's Weasel. I think it's been forever since we've seen Weasel. How's it going? Okay, we got it. Sambo's taking the AC down, guys. That's it. That's it for the season. The fair was a special event where people with special needs could get in for free. That's so nice. I mean, shouldn't they do that like all the time though? Thank you, Annie, for the Bitleys. 749. Did you even it up? Okay, so we're gonna do 1 cup of oats. They said old-fashioned oats. I'm gonna do a mix from both of these bags. One is like a fancy organic one that's sprouted, and the other one's just like a basic one. What? Sambo got splodooshed. Are you okay? You'll just never be the same though? It's Boss Man. He's late. But, as I always say, better late than never. Hope you're doing alright. We're just getting things started, so you haven't missed too much. Samo's here, guys. He's doing better. Nurse Kate took care of him yesterday. The rides were free, the lunch was free, and there was even free ice cream. Can't pass any of that up. Okay, there's our other half cup of our oats. Half of the fancy kind, half of the regular. Dave got an indoor Blackstone for Father's Day. Didn't get outside as it's England. Just raining, hey? Trust me, I know. I've been there. Try backpacking through England. Surprise, it's raining again. But you're not used to it as of yet, but that's so exciting. What's like your first thing that you're thinking of making on it? Okay, so we got our 1 cup of oats. Now we're gonna do half a cup of raw sunflower seeds. So you don't want any of this stuff toasted or roasted already, right? Because we're gonna bake it again, so we don't want it to burn. So that was organic. I got this morning just from the bulk section. And I saved like $1 per 100 grams. I was like winning. And then the last easy one, some chia seeds. These are really good for fiber, digestion. Do they have a bit of protein in them too? Yeah, there's 2 grams of protein in 1.5 tablespoons of chia seeds. So I'm switching this out for flaxseed because I don't need all of the fiber from flax. I'd rather just have the chia. And it adds a nice little crunchy pop too. That is so good to hear. It was a well-run fair because sometimes it can be so disorganized, right? And you got a free shirt. Man, free shirts, the best. I have so many free shirts. Okay, so for this, switching out for the... I'm going to switch out for the poppy seeds. So only need actually 2 tablespoons of these. And then we have walnuts. Lamb leg steaks on the Blackstone. Sear them up real good. Yummo. And yes, this is the same version of chia that makes a chia pet, guys. Okay, last one. It's like Annie heard Sam. Chia. What did I see? Oh, that's what happened. That's the one I saw on social media this week. I gotta tell you guys. Hilarious fish stream. So this person had to start giving their dog chia seeds in their diet. Like we know where dogs go to the bathroom outside, right? In the yard. So then what do you think happened when the dog started putting this stuff into the yard with the chia seeds in it? Literal just chia growing all throughout the grass, which I thought was super hilarious and the people didn't think of it. So now they have chia grass forever. And that's all I got.
It's nice soft grass.
Very nice. Okay, last one. 1/4 cup only of walnuts. That's not enough. We'll probably do a 1/2 cup and call it a day. You got some corn from the allotment? A few survived the parakeets. Oh yeah, because the birds always try to eat the corn at the end of the season. We know this. There is people around here that are growing corn in their front yard, and it makes me so dang happy. And it's looking so good. It's looking so good. Like, they'll actually be able to eat it. Okay, cut this up and in, and then we'll pour 2 cups of boiling water over all of this. And I can imagine that multi-grain bread is pretty expensive to buy from the store now. You probably save a lot of money if you make it yourself like this.
Last bread place I looked at that you sent me?
Yeah?
It was $9 a loaf for sour.
$9 a loaf for sourdough bread here, guys.
You make 2 loaves, $18.
Yeah. So yeah, if you make bread at home now, just think like that loaf of bread is worth $10. What? Bonk! Holy moly indeed. Bonk's coming in with a 56-month in a row resub. How was your week, Bonk? What did I see something chuck up here? Oh, just from Dave. Okay. You're gonna high net the corn next year. Yeah. You need the netting. I mean, all of the orchards here have to do it too from the birds. As much as, like, you would want to share, is they don't know the limit to stick within. It's like, yeah, if it worked better, then everyone could have a little bit of everything, right? But sadly, that's not the way it goes. Week was okay, Bonk. The week went by really fast. And I also want to say, like, a lot of people felt angry this week when I was out and about, like, doing my client stuff and such. It just didn't seem like a great week for people, and I don't know why that was. Okay, 2 cups worth of this boiling. And then we'll basically just say we'll steep this. Steep everything in the boiling water. $1,300 people at that fair you went to? Very nice. That's good then. If they were able to keep everything organized like you said. There we go. Dinner reservations are a bit earlier. Annie's like running out the door now. Okay, Annie. Have a safe trip. Love you. Have fun with your mom. And thank you for all the gift subbies. Okay, I'm gonna just even that out. Kind of distribute as we pour the hot water. Bye! So long. Farewell. And then I think last time we just did a little mix to get this all distributed. It kind of just bungs up with the walnuts, I think. I don't know, let's see. You can use a little spatula. And now all we're gonna do is wait for this to cool down to the point where we can safely add our yeast in and wake it up. So it's gotta be close to room temperature, let's say. I think last time I did it at 105F, and that worked really good. So make sure you have a thermometer around, or you could just use your finger. Don't stick it in right now because you'll burn yourself. Just trying to scrape down the edges so everything is submerged. But as soon as you don't see steam coming off of this anymore, you can start to test the temperature with your finger. So we're just gonna put this to the side and then get all of the other ingredients ready. The only 2 things you would change at the fair is having cooler temps and a carousel. They didn't have a carousel? That's a pretty typical fair ride. Oh my God, it's the racetrack today.
Saturday, isn't
Bonk, we're making some bread today and then making some burgies after that. Get our yeast out. Olive oil. Olive the oil. We need both white and whole wheat flour, and then some salt. And then we could also measure out our discard right now while we're waiting. So I already have a little bit in here from before I fed, and now we're gonna pour some out as it's getting active. It looks like everything bread. It's pretty close to it. Yeah, if you did the poppy seeds and sesame seeds, for sure. Like, I'm sure even if you did, like, just everything bagel seasoning in it, would be delicious. Would be good. So, our discard, there's actually quite a bit of discard in this. It's 1.5 cups worth. This is almost 1 cup here, so we don't have to take too much out of this, which was my plan. And then we always just want to stir it, because it gets aerated as it sits at room temp. Thanks, Sambo. He refilled the water. Let's see if we can scoop a bit out of here. And see how sticky it is. Love it. So this is like natural yeast in it, right? Because it's just flour and water. And I should have wrote a date. The birth date of our starter down, because I think this is probably close to 6 months old now. What is Sam yelling from the room? Looks like thick stuff. I do make a thick starter, and also we can say mine is like half and half. There's whole wheat in it. A lot of people will just feed their starters with all-purpose white flour, and I mix in some fresh milled local whole grain flour as well. So let's just mix this together now, because one's like a little bit soft and the other one's still a bit thick. See what we end up with. I think that's perfect. And now this is just gonna set aside at room temp still for another couple hours until it proofs back up. Okay, should we temp these seeds and nuts? Maybe give them a mix, cool them down a touch. Yeah, this is one of my favorite breads to eat because they toast up so nice. It's like a denser bread, so it holds up to a lot of stuff. I like the chew of the oats, and the nuts and the seeds just add like an extra health property. So as we keep this moving, you're gonna release more and more of the steam and heat out of the mixture. And then, like I said, as we mix our bread together after this, we'll probably need a little bit more liquid. You can see how this is getting thicker and everything is getting nice and hydrated, so we don't end up with a dry bread. Okay, thermometer time. Did I say we were taking down the AC? Yeah, Sam already did, I think. He's just like, boom. Okay, we're at 123. So we're only looking for 105. So we're actually almost ready to mix that. So while we wait, I'm just gonna put away our oats and all of our other nuts and stuff that we added. Supposed to be 88 where you are today. We haven't had temps over like 30 for a couple weeks now. And yeah, it's mostly just around 20 degrees Celsius on the daily. So it seems like our hot days they've come and gone. I'm excited for burgers today, Scoots and Wedges. We'll see how much potatoes they sent us. Maybe we'll make a couple extra from the farmer's market potatoes. Is your burger ready yet? It is not, Titan. It is not. And let's actually look. At the recipe. Look at all my recipe cards now. One thing I will say is for tomorrow's stream, as we were unpacking our delivery this morning, where is it? Oh, they're up top. One of the meals, the one that I wanted to make tomorrow, is missing a portion of fish. So our pan-seared fish tacos with salmon, they only sent us like one piece of salmon for 4 people, or 4 portions. So I did go on the customer service. I just called them up right away. And they're not gonna send another portion of fish, but they just gave us, I think it was $11 credit on our account to use up in a future box, let's say. But I was like, oh, that was like the one that I wanted to make on stream, right? Kind of funny how it was the one that did not come properly, but that's okay. At least they give you something back, right? But it doesn't make sense for them to send a whole driver out just for one piece of fish, right? But here's what our lunchy looks like today. I think that's so good. And yeah, we have extra onions from a couple other of their meals, so I'll make sure I use those up today. Nom. Nom, nom, nom. You guys are hungry, it's lunchtime. This morning's breakfast, I made us like a peach and granola yogurt. But yeah, I'm kind of hungry too. So let's get going. Okay, this feels good. Let's start adding our stuff into here that we need. Are you being weird, camera? No, it's dark that way. Okay. So we need oil, our starter, salt, yeast, and our flours. There we go. A 1/4 cup of olive oil is actually in here. I'm intrigued by that. That will help to keep the bread more soft too. And I'm just reading that we add it all, because sometimes you save a little bit of the oil to like grease the bread pan or something like that. 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm sure you could use whatever oil you wanted if you don't like olive oil, but I definitely didn't taste it in the bread last time I used this. If that's something you're worried about. Okay, now I'm gonna give this one more stir before we add the discard in. So we'll add the discard first, and then we will add the yeast and adjust if we need the liquid at that point before we add the flour. 1.5 cups of that very sticky goodness though. This bread's also good with sweet and savory stuff. Multigrain bread with jam. But then it's also really good for like dipping eggs and stuff. We got options. Maybe the only thing I wouldn't use the multigrain bread for might be a bit weird is like French toast. Might be a bit weird, that one. But you never know if you don't try. Okay, give that a little mixeroo. Nice. I'm just trying to control the heat level so it's not too warm for the yeast. Okay, next one. Our active yeast. I don't use quick yeast ever. I just use active dry, so 1.5 tablespoons. And we don't want to skimp on this because then it's gonna take longer for your bread to rise, so just keep that in mind. There is no rising action coming from the sourdough. Or not a ton, at least. Not a ton. I guess I should just use half of this. There. See how I kind of distributed it around? Now we'll give that one more small mix. And then we just have the flour and the salt to add last. Salt is a yeast inhibitor, which a lot of people don't know, so that's why we always add the salt last. Even though a ton of bread recipes say to add everything in the mixing bowl at the same time, I've had some times where it didn't work out the best when I did that. So now I always just do this process. Do the yeast first by itself and then do the salt at the end once you've added some flour to everything. Trying to dissolve the yeast a bit in there. If you go closer, maybe you'll be able to see everything. Okay, that's good. It looks kind of gross though when you first start out, I will say that. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And we add all of the all-purpose flour first, and then we add the whole wheat flour a little bit at a time because it's gonna make it thicker and thicker as we add the whole wheat flour. 2.5 cups of AP. That's what I'm using. Anita's Organic Mill. One. Two. 0.5. Awesome. I think you can add the salt now. So it's just a tablespoon of salt. And you don't want to skimp on the salt, guys, on this one. Never skip the salt on your bread. That's why it tastes bland. Okay, and then it is 1.5 to 2 cups of whole wheat flour. So why don't we start with 1? And then we could add more from there. Let's see. Start mixing on low. Oh, and last time, I totally forgot this last time. And I just ended up adding maple syrup, which was really good. A 1/4 cup for your sugar amount. I guess you could always mix the sugar with the oil. You could add it together that way so you don't forget. And all the sugar is really gonna do is help the yeast. It's like when we have coffee in the morning, when you add sugar to bread that has yeast, it just makes it more active. Gives it like a little energy drink. Could also use honey, is a really popular one in bread, honey oat. They did say to use light or dark brown sugar though for this, not a white sugar. That's why a maple syrup I thought would be really good. Okay, this is looking pretty dense, guys. I'm sure you can see that. So I don't think we're gonna add any more whole wheat flour. Remember I said I had to add more liquid last time, so you could also just add less flour instead. And now this is gonna mix for around 10 minutes until we have built the gluten up enough. And then we'll set it aside to proof the rest of the way. So while we're waiting now, we can put away everything we don't need. Little bit of honey, isn't it good? That like the floral flavor, but maple syrup is good too. For us Canadians, I guess, that always have it in the house. But yeah, the fact that one loaf of bread is $9 now if you want good quality bread, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So we're just gonna make our own then, right? I'll put the timer on a bit for us. Let's do like 8 minutes. Okay, so bread dough done. Check that off. We'll proof it for around an hour next, or until it's doubled in size. And then while that is proofing, let's look over our recipe. So we gotta, we'll probably start by making the caramelized onions. That'll be the next long process. Get those in the pan, and then we can cut up our potato wedges for the oven. And then from there, we just do our burger patties, our barbecue mayo, toast the buns, and cook the burgies. You could have also swapped out the meat for this burger recipe for either turkey or even Beyond Meat. So they give you lots of different options now. And the wedges are getting dressed in a smoked paprika garlic seasoning, which I thought sounded really good. Holy, look at how sticky this is getting already, guys. This is looking amazing. It's like pulling away from the sides of the mixing bowl. That's perfect. I think we nailed this one this time. And yeah, this is gonna make 2 loaves of bread. Reformed Druid 6, thanks for the follow, welcome. Last sip of coffee, my friends. So good. Okay, we'll need plastic to wrap that when it goes to proof, so I'll go grab that. And then I'll start to grab our onions out because that's what we'll be cutting up next. Oh, you know what we started doing yesterday finally, guys? Because Samo fixed his computer. It was just like really dusty and it wouldn't run the game right. We started playing Stray. So I did a playthrough of this game on stream with everyone, start to finish. But I really wanted to see Sam play Stray through, so that's what we started yesterday. And it's been wonderful to watch somebody else play it. I think a couple people from here have played it as well. You still haven't picked it up? It is so good, Bonk. Ugh. So good. You'll have to ask Samo what he thinks of it, I guess. All of the red onions, dig them all out. Because they sent way too many with our other meals this week. But that's okay. We'll make some extra caramelized onions. Oh, and also from HelloFresh right now, when you order, they have this thing like free breakfast for life. So you get to pick a free breakfasty food. Last week I got 6 bagels for free. This week I got 2 of these little packs. Spinach and egg white little egg bites. So I'll let you guys know how those were. And then another add-on that they had like on sale was this gyoza pack and some spring rolls too. So we'll probably cook these 2 tomorrow since we didn't end up with enough fish for our tacos. I was like, ooh, good thing I ordered a little extra. We're at 4 minutes, guys, but this is looking amazing. Turn it up a little bit higher, the speed. We got our bread pans back there. We're gonna make our caramelized onions with some butter today. Oh, this is what else we got this week too. Which I feel like I went back in time because I've used this for forever in other places we've lived in the country. But we finally just got our first green box for the apartment here. How is like the States and other places in the world as far as like apartment living? Do you guys have garbage, recycle, and food scraps as well? Because we only had garbage and recycle up until now. But if I talk about back like 10 years ago, we had all of that already set up in Vancouver. That's why I say I feel like I went back in time almost. It's so crazy to see how different areas of the country, I guess, so operate, hey? Couple more minutes on this. Titan, you live very rural, so you don't even get stuff like that. And they probably don't have to worry too much about you guys. Like, you're pretty self-sufficient. If you're living rural, you already know what to do. I'm very interested to see how they implement this, because so far they've only given us those green bins, but there's nowhere to like put the food scraps yet. And we're all terrified that it's gonna just like smell so bad in the building. It almost looks like a rye bread, it's so dark. You're craving a bowl of pho? Seems like everyone's like been craving that lately. What kind of meats do you usually get in it? Just the shaved brisket? That's usually my go-to. I'm picky, I don't like the tendon and other stuff like that and the tripe. I'm a picky pho person. This gluten though, guys, that's building up in this dough, I think will be great to turn it off and let it proof the rest of the way. It's pulled away from the edges of the mixing bowl. If we do this, we can see it stretch along the side. Multigrain breads are pretty difficult to do the window test with, just because there is like other things in there, right? So the window's gonna break a lot easier. So that's why it's much more important to go by a timing for this dough rather than how it looks or feels. You get everything in the pho but tripe. And then do you spice it up with the chili oil or some sambal or sriracha? This is looking so much better even than the last bread that we made. So I know I said the last bread baked up dense, but maybe this one will bake up a little bit different. I'm excited. Just waiting for the timer to go off and we're good. Chili oil, see, there we go. Put about half in it just for a little kick. Yeah, I don't like to make it too spicy, right? Like you can always add more. That's allowed. Okay, take this apart. We'll scrape everything off and then let it proof. I think a lot of us are like that. We like the spicy, but our stomach doesn't. Okay, we gotta wipe off the mixer. We got her floured up. It happens though. That's what happens when you make good stuff. It sucks that that happens when you get old and your body just says F you. Nobody warns us about this, or do they? Maybe we always think they're joking when they warn us. Like, that'll never happen to me. And now look at us. You'll be 40 in a few months. You're still young, Titan. Not even 40 yet. Wait, that's how Samo is, though. Oh my gosh. We never thought about this. Guys, we gotta plan something for October 7th. That's the big 4-0. Hello, Papamo. What kind of mixer is that? And then, do I prefer it to a KitchenAid? This is called an Incarshroom, is how you say it, mixer. And it is a Swedish brand that we tried many, many years back when we were actually unhappy with a new KitchenAid purchase that we had. Because it wouldn't even mix a batch of cookies, and that's always my one test of a new mixer. And then one of our food sale reps told us about this brand of mixer and to try it out. And then ever since then, we've been obsessed with it. It's seriously the best mixer ever. Guys, how many things have we done with it on stream? Like, we have the mixing bowl. I meat grind with it. We've made pasta with it. We can mill our own grains to make flour. There's so much stuff I know there's like a tomato pressing one that you can add on for when you're canning tomatoes at the end of the season. It's pretty amazing. You love the scrape feature? Me too. I also love, like, I don't know if you saw me, like, scraping with this little spatula while it was still running. Probably not the best to do, but if you're comfortable, it's pretty amazing to be able to do that rather than the KitchenAid. Like, you always have to stop when you add things, turn it back on. This, not the same. I know it's expensive, but in my mind, it is so worth it if you do a lot of baking. Like, we used to make a lot of pizzas for friends and family on the weekends, and they would, like, come and pick them up and sell them. We would have 2 of these mixing pizza dough side by side, because that's how big of batches we would make. So yeah, years worth of work this thing has put in, and still amazing. Okay, put this to the side. Why don't we set an hour timer now? Actually, usually I set a 45-minute timer for the first proofing stage. That way, if it is ready, we can divide it right away, because sometimes it goes quicker. But then that way, if it's not, we also know we have about 15 more minutes to do something else. And yeah, it's pretty warm in here today, so it's not like we have to create a proofing chamber for that. Now we are going to wait until that is doubled in size. About an hour. You don't want to drive 45-minute round trip for some pho, but you think you're going to. I think you should. 45 minutes, that's not bad for a round trip. I could see if that was a one-way. You'd maybe be like, But if it's a round trip, I think that's not too bad, Titan. Like, think about how good you're gonna feel on the way home. Papa Mo, thank you for that follow. Welcome in. Scoots is making hot dog buns. 4 hot dogs, or are you gonna make Smokies or something else? Okay, now we're gonna roll into our smoky beef cheeseburgers. You do that too, Scoots? One way to get any good food up there in the Wild West is you gotta drive. Bonk, I'll drive 1 hour or an hour one way for good Indian food. We're pretty serious about our food here, hey? Okay. Turn this over. You want to come closer? I don't know if you guys will be able to read upside down, but you can see the photos at least. So for this is how they say to cook the meal. And that is probably the best way, but we're gonna do it a little bit different since we're waiting on bread to proof and stuff. So we'll caramelize our onions and get that going first. And then we can go into cutting up the wedges, forming our patties, making the mayo and that sort of stuff in between our bread stages. So I picked out of the fridge these 3 red onions that were left over from other HelloFresh meals that we used this week. I do like that a lot of times they'll send extra rather than not enough. Other than maybe our 1 protein this week, but that's okay. That's a one-off. And then the rest of the stuff will be in here. So they'll send this bag like this for your meal today. So they're always labeled. And then on the back, they'll say what you should have in it as well. Just in case you're missing something. When we open this up, we got our spring mix. Just put that back in the fridge. Stay nice and crisp and cool. So that'll go onto the burgers. 4 buns. We'll probably only make 2 today. We'll see. Put the buns on the side for now. Scoots, I crack you up. This is how you should do it, but this is how we are gonna do it. At least I tell you guys. So yeah, we got 2 more onions out of the bag for caramelized onions. Barbecue sauce. Breadcrumbs for the burgers, which I'll probably leave out. Probably leave the breadcrumbs out because I'm more of just a protein burger person. We got some balsamic vinegar, I'm gonna say, for the caramelized onions. Barbecue mayo set there. And then lastly, for the potatoes, our smoked paprika garlic blend. Boom. Let's put the seasoning on the side. We'll put the mayo stuff in the fridge with the greens. Breadcrumbs on the side too. And then all we have left in here, which will be interesting to make some very small potato wedges from these baby potatoes. But well, let's just leave that all in there for now. And then lastly, they always just send like all the proteins on the side. They usually come in either frozen or like partially frozen still. I do like that, just in case you do order extra and you're like, oh, I'm not maybe gonna get to that meal. Just put the protein in the freezer then, if everything else in the bag can like sit another week. I'm just rearranging the steps. Yep, that's me. You know it. Okay, so it says to cut our onions about 1/4 inch thick. We know that as julienne, so away we go. And then just heat a pan over medium heat, add your fat, cook your onions, and then we add a little bit of sugar and salt, it says. And then the vinegar at the end, which I'll probably save the sugar to the end too so it doesn't burn. When Bonk was getting Blue Apron back years ago, they would send a small head of garlic for a recipe that called for 3 or 4 cloves. You had so much leftover garlic, you didn't have to buy it for years. Yeah, right? Like, we have so much onions left over. But like I said, better to have extra than not enough. So we'll half all of these, peel them, and then get them chopped. They're gonna stain my cutting board, aren't they? You've had your boxes get stuck in places like they didn't arrive, Scoots? I do like the HelloFresh, because this morning, like, I got an email saying, oh, your box is out for delivery. And, like, if you click on the link in the email, you can, like, kind of track where your driver is. It was pretty accurate. Like, last week they came at 10:20, and then this week it said 9:20 to 11:20, I think, and it came at 10:20 again. So it is accurate. Oh, the roads were closed. Dang. That would be unfortunate. Poor driver, too. I hate that feeling. Okay, I'm gonna cry a little bit because of the onions. How's Suzanne? Good evening. Smoky cheeseburger sounds nice. Is it the cheese that's smoked? It's actually the mayo. We make a smoky barbecue mayo. Okay, clearing out the sinuses here, I guess. This is wild. Oh, and also I guess we can say the potato wedges will be smoky because there's a smoked paprika seasoning blend too. Yum. That's gonna be good together. I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm dying, guys. It burns. It burns the eyeballs. I'm not gonna be able to see what I'm even cutting. These were also a little bit challenging to peel. Sneaky red onions. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of all this. We have a little bit of trimming still to do on the onion before we julienne them. Just the root end so they don't stick all together. If I show you this, that end, I usually cut it off. Look at, there's literal tears rolling down my face. Usually cut it off like that, and that way all of the onion pieces will fall apart and not just stick together. Oh my god. I'm never gonna make it out of here alive. Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. One sec, guys. This is crazy. Hi, I'm back. I'm seriously dying. Like, somebody send help. I think I'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. Let's get these chopped up and cooking. Actually gonna wipe. There's like a couple little root pieces and peel bits. There we go. You just heard about salmon mayo? As I understand it, the manufacturer put a little smoked salmon in the mayo used on sandwiches or on fish. That sounds good. That's like making a smoked salmon cream cheese kinda. Is that something they're doing in your country? Because I've not seen anything like that here. And I don't even know if they'd make anything like that here, honestly. Definitely see that more catered to the European market. In Finland, the country next to where you're living. Cool. I would assume they eat lots of fish there, right? So that's why they have a condiment like that. Okay, so we'll cook these in our frying pan, I think, our skillet. And then the burgers, we will pan fry in the brazier pan, our other cast iron. Look at how much caramelized onions we're gonna end up with. This is wild. Maybe I'll turn it into like a chip dippy or something. Okay, Bonk. He's AFK. He's gots to go. You need to get your hands on it and try it for sure. Yeah, all of the northern countries eat fish. Because that is what is around you. Okay, one more. Then we'll stop crying. We made it. Okay. Over to the stove. Give me a sec. And whenever I make caramelized onions, I usually do half and half butter and oil. The butter adds good flavor, and then the oil will make the barrier to not let it burn. Let's see if this camera is still working, because it disconnected already once. I think we're good. Amazing. Okay. It's on medium heat. Let's get our fat in here heating up. We can do a mixture of olive oil and butter. You could also do like a canola oil or something like that. Whatever you guys feel comfortable with. I'm just going to use the rest of this bottle up. All gone. And now we'll cut a little nub of butter. Wrong spot. It's not in the freezer. I haven't made caramelized onions in a long time. Longly long. They're very good on burgers. Do a pretty good amount of butter, guys, because we have a lot of onions. Now I'm gonna start bringing the onions over as this heats up. Pop our butter away. We shouldn't need that again. So this is gonna first fill up the pan, but then they're gonna cook way down. Picking out a couple weird pieces of onion. Okay, we're good. That's some butter scoots. You'll be surprised how much they soak up the fat. Yeah, you don't want to skimp on fat when making caramelized onions. I've just seen people try to do that before, and what ends up happening is your onions will burn if there's not enough fat in the pan as you're slowly cooking them. And it just won't taste as good. So don't be afraid of the butter, especially for flavor. Can't really beat it. Okay, I think I have to blow my nose one more time still. It's only gonna take me a couple seconds. And then I think we'll be good. Okay, I'm back. While these onions are cooking, we're gonna add some salt to them. Help draw out some of the extra moisture. I'm just gonna wipe the onion stuff off of the board, so not everything tastes like onions now. And those will probably take around 30 minutes to make these caramelized onions. It's not really something that you wanna rush. It's more of a slower process if you want them to taste really yummy and have a good texture. So keep that in mind. Okay, next one as we go along, there's 26 minutes left on our timer for the bread proofing, we'll start cutting up our wedges. Just get some salt on here and mix up first. And then the only other real thing with caramelized onions is a lot of stirring involved. You don't want to go too far. But we wanted the best viewers, Scoots. Now what are we gonna do? Get this all coated. And yeah, I don't often use red onion for much else in the house. So I thought it would just be smart to cook them all the extra ones into caramelized onions. There's a little tickle in my throat from blowing my nose. Some water so I don't cough. They're holding our viewers hostage. Where is everyone? That'd be so scary if they could do that. What the heck? Okay. Potato time. Come back over. I just tried to clear my throat. I don't like when there's a tickle and I'm trying to talk. Okay, so this is not that much potatoes to make into wedges. Let's scoop this all out. So maybe we will use some more of the farmer's market ones. Aren't they cute? But like not the best taters to choose for wedges. Usually you choose big potatoes for wedges. Michael's here. Hello? Anyone? Okay, usually we have to clean them up a little bit too, right? So I always do that first before we even cut them up. But I think we should probably add a little bit more potatoes to this amount. Because like have an extra potato wedge, not a bad thing. Michael's coming out of the closet. And for potato wedges, guys, we always want to keep as much skin on as possible. That's what's gonna hold everything together. Make it tasty. Mickey, you were out with Pup? Running with the ball. He's 6 months old now. Where does the time go? He's growing up. You have a whole bag of these from the allotment downstairs? Oh, yeah. Potatoes on the Blackstone. Just slice them up into rounds and fry them in butter and garlic. Yes, please. All of the noms. That was like me shopping this week for my clients. And I got them green beans that were on sale. And the cashier, she's like, have you ever cooked green beans with garlic but then sprinkled feta cheese on top? I was like, what the heck? No, I've never done feta green beans. And also one of my friends would love that. And then I said the cashier, I was like, Don't get me started talking about food. I could go on forever. We both just laughed. But I like when the cashiers get excited about the food that you buy. Okay, let's go check back here because there's some sizzling sounds. Starting to go more translucent. It's working, guys. It's working. I'm not gonna turn up the heat either. This is a really perfect simmer, let's say, in the fat for the onions. And that is another thing for caramelized onions I forgot to say, is we're not really trying to brown them at all. You're just slowly cooking them down in fat. And they will eventually just kind of brown on their own as time goes on and concentrate that flavor that way. Mickey, you're halfway out of the closet. You got 1 foot. 1 foot in the door still. They do take forever, Bonk. That's why I thought it would be smart to cook them first. Because what do they say? So 3 to 4 minutes, and then just another 6 to 8, and that was it. That's not nearly long enough. I think when I was taught how to make caramelized onions, it was like a 3-hour process. You start it first thing and you get into the kitchen at 8 so that it can be done for when you open lunch service at 11. Because they literally take the whole 3 hours of your prep shift. So the whole time that you're prepping everything else, you're also stirring those onions like every 10 minutes or less. It's a labor of love. So I think we're just gonna quarter these little taters for wedges. Because they're so small. 3 hours, yep. I think my favorite potatoes to use for wedges is red potatoes with the skin on. Yes, exactly. Basically, caramelized onions are what you start French onion soup with. So if you've ever made that, well, you've made caramelized onions pretty much. Mickey Peppers is putting toilet paper all over the house. He's giving you something to do. Trekkert, how is it going? I'm assuming you're back in school. How's the start of the year? Let's go, come over here. Do a little bit of stirring again. These are looking great, guys. Really looking perfect. Keep it going. It's been crazy. The day you were supposed to start back to work, you had to put one of your puppers down. Oh my gosh. And then a few days before, a kid passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that. I assumed it was puppers. I'm sad, friend. I hope you're doing okay. Sending you some love. That's like never easy to deal with that. Like ever. When you lose something from your life, You're better glad you're here. I'm glad you're here too. We're just cooking along today. We got bread on the go. We got caramelized onions. We got potato wedges that we're working on right now. So let's get these into this bowl. And I think I'll make enough so that we make one full sheet pan of roasted potatoes. So we'll just get a little bit more from our farmer's market ones. That is so sad, Trek. I see that actually a lot from parents posting of their kids getting bullied and then they leave this world. It makes me really sad. Cause like I think there's a lot of us that have probably went through that, right? We're too young. This is what I chose, guys. You're trying to type on the treadmill? Yeah, you're doing great. Don't worry. Okay, so we will trim these ones up a bit and then we'll cut them. I'll try to match them same size to our other potatoes so that they all roast the same. Scoots, you have the same issue on the walking pad. You have to learn how to type all over again. Distracted walking. Okay, was that all of them? No, I forgot this one. There we go. And one more. This one looks so perfect. Like, see how shiny it is? So shiny. So I'm just peeling off and picking off any blemishes that will make it taste bad. So if you leave that on potatoes, it'll often make it taste like dirt. Oh, ruin the whole dish. Let's go over for another stir again. I can hear it. It's time. You just found out that you're having burgers tonight too? High five, friend. You've been dicing onions to put on them, which you now regret. Are you crying? We're crying together. We got this. I can't believe how strong those onions were, though. That was nuts. A double nose blow? That's when you know. See what I mean, though? By that pan was, like, full of onions when we first started, and now they're just slowly cooking down more and more. Scoots, are you saying at high altitude, things take longer to cook? That is wild. Okay, let's cut this. Actually, how do I even want to cut these up? I guess we'll cut them in half first, and then we'll have to go in half again and again, and then to match like this size from our baby potato, probably just go half that way. And this should look interesting in the bowl all together too. Watch now, we end up with too much. Kind of deceiving. Less air pressure at altitude means different cooking technique, especially with boiling and baking. Like, we learn this stuff in school, in the book, but it really kind of boggles your mind unless you're actually doing it in person, right? Should like go on a field trip in culinary school to somewhere that has a higher altitude so that you understand actually how it works. Sometimes you do them in the slow cooker, the caramelized onions come back 18 hours later. Slow cooker is a safe way to do it. Don't have to watch it too closely. These ones I'll just leave whole because it's pretty small potato. Oh, one has a blemish. Okay, I do have one more potato here, but I don't know if we'll need it actually. It's filled up, the bowl. I think that will be one whole sheet pan worth. So I'll just put that in the fridge because I trimmed it up a little bit already. Rinsing my knife. And now on here, we need this goodness. Smoked paprika garlic blend. And then I think first we're gonna come back over and stir this up again. Look at how good those are looking. I'm also gonna turn down the heat. I've been slowly turning down the heat. We started at medium 5. Last it was at 4, and now I just turned it down to 3. Some of the smaller pieces of the red onion are starting to brown just a little bit now. So that's why I said we don't do the browning at the start. Because then you still have to cook after, right? And it'll probably get burnt. But they will slowly brown themselves around the edges as we cook this. And that's why it's important to keep stirring it. Okay, back over again. 8 minutes on the bread timer too. And yeah, she's pretty much doubled in size. So let's keep going. Maybe first, before we dress this, let's just prep our sheet pan with some foil and parchment and pour that right on there. So 25% longer to cook at higher altitude. How cool. You never think it's that much, right? But it is. And guys, my nose is still running. I don't know how that's possible. Oh, I'll make them wither, bonk. Those onions destroyed me today. I also, yeah, have made caramelized onions before that have some minced garlic in it. You can do that. You just have to be really careful if you put the garlic, because the garlic will always try to burn, right? We're teaching these onions a lesson today. There we are. Now we need some more olive oil. Time to open a brand new jug. And I did notice that they changed the lid on this from the old bottle. I just bought some this week. It's like larger. So I don't know if they changed the pour spout on it. I don't know, is that bigger? Let's look at the old bottle. This is the old bottle. Oh, there we go. That's the old bottle. Yeah, way bigger, hey? So in my mind, I feel like they made the spout bigger so that they use more every time you use it. So then you have to buy it faster. That's the reason I thought of it. There might be some other reason, but I don't know why they would change that if they've had it for so long. Why did I put parchment on the tin foil? Because I find that if you don't put parchment for roasted veggies, sometimes they will try and stick on the tin foil. Does that make sense, Trek? Why they would make the spout larger? That's where my mind always goes. I don't know if that's just like a chef thing, but I always pick up on just those little things. Same with shampoo bottles. Interesting. I can't open it. Get the scissors. We can start with one of these, the smoked paprika garlic blend, but we could always put one more. Sometimes it's a bit deceiving what they give you, because that already seems like quite a bit, right? So usually I'll mix in one packet first and then see if it needs another one. The companies have armies of engineers, marketers, scientists. They honestly do. What was I reading about the like popular kind of like fizzy soda brand Poppy? How they rebranded, and ever since they rebranded their packaging, they've like sold out, right? Very interesting to see how things are marketed to us. That really coated the potatoes quite a bit. So I don't know if we need more, guys. Usually I'll just save that extra packet and use it for something else another time. So we're gonna pour that now onto the sheet pan. Look at my hands. And then we'll spread them out. And I still want to do a little bit of salt and pepper over this. Ah, my hands are really oily. Try and do this without like washing them. There we go. And the psychologist, Bonk says. Some of these potatoes are so small. Oh my goodness. And now we're just gonna spread these out. Especially with potato wedges. I always try to just keep one even layer so that you get them nice and browned. I don't know how crispy these will get, so I'm not calling them crispy potato wedges. But these will have a little bit of time, I guess, to marinate with the seasoning before we bake them. I find that that makes the veggies turn out really good. Season them ahead of time. Okay, now I'll start spreading out the rest. I usually make a border first and then fill out the pan the rest of the way. So adding those few extra potatoes was definitely necessary. I always try to aim for one full pan of roasted veggies for 4 portions. There we go. Washing up, and then we'll do some salt and pepper. Mickey, last week at work this week, and then you closed down for 2 weeks? Nice. You guys waited till like the end of summer then, hey? I know a lot of Europeans usually like to take their holidays in August. But that also means that everywhere is busy for holidays in August. Already 2 hours, Scoots. Okay, and then let's turn around again. Before we season these, we gotta stir our onions. Look at them. It's transforming. The deliciousness. So we haven't added the sugar yet or the vinegar, which I always just wait to add right at the end. And then just let those reduce until we're happy with the consistency of everything. But these are looking really, really good. Just always spread it back out. And then they'll keep sizzling. All right. The salt and the pep. I think next we're gonna divide our bread because the dough will be doubled in size. Let that proof up. It might be bread getting baked with potato wedges. I guess we'll see. Potatoes can take quite a bit of salt, I would say. Oh, look, there's the timer for the bread anyways. Amazing. So don't be scared to salt your potatoes when you roast them. I've had way more times that my potatoes taste bland compared to times where I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. Enough salt. Put those to the side. And I'll just do a little wiperoo. And we're going to dump the bread dough out of the mixing bowl. I think I'm gonna do this on a cutting board, just so we don't get the wooden board dirty. And then we'll put it into the bread pan. It is as simple as that. It almost seems too simple, really. Check that out. Looks so dark. It seriously looks like rye bread. It wasn't this dark last time. So intrigued right now. And then these are our bread pans. So I usually just set them up on the side. So it's easy to get your bread into there. Do we grease the loaf pan? That's the only other thing that I always read, because some recipes you do, other ones you don't. Yes, we do. Grease 2 8x4-inch metal loaf pans. And then we're gonna punch down our dough, turn it onto a floured surface, and cut it in half. I'm just gonna spray some nonstick spray in these pans. You're welcome to do whatever you want. Some people will swipe butter around. Just use a pastry brush with some canola oil. Definitely make sure you get in the corners too. I find that's mostly like where the bread is gonna stick if it wants to. Those sneaky little corner spots. And yeah, I don't use a ton of that spray, just enough to coat. Whoa, look at it. I'm testing to see how sticky it is. Probably can do with some flour, I'm gonna say. Let's go get a little bit of flour. If this was more of a bread recipe like a brioche, a rich dough with eggs and butter, usually I don't use too much flour. But for a stickier one like multigrain, I think this is smart. And you can just sprinkle it sparingly. Let's see how that goes. The mixer link times out without loading the page? Really? Let me click on this and see. Did they change the link to the mixer? I guess it does. Thank you. Did it to you too. Okay. Write it on the list. Interesting how over the years, links will just slightly change. Hey, thanks, Bonk. I'm not gonna add it to the list then. But yeah, interesting, hey? Thanks for being the brave person to tell us, because no one has said that. Unless that just happened really recently with them switching the site. Who knows, right? Okay, that's our bread. Taken out of the mixing bowl. Let's scrape the rest of this out. Look at all those nice gluten strands. URLs get updated and the domains change. I did notice that actually recently because I've always had like a Google domain for cookwithkate.com that I got a long time ago. And then just recently, I think this year, they sold out and now it's taken over by Squarespace. That should be enough flour, guys. Put this back. And then I'll just press this out into like a rectangle, usually. Just get this floured underneath so it doesn't stick too much. You could even stretch it out. Try not to get my hands too sticky just yet. You want an even thickness when you do this all the way around the pile of dough. So this is about 2 inches thick. It's quite thick. And now all I'm going to do is go down the center like this. Do I want to press it first? I might press it first before we divide it. And so this is taking the extra air out of the dough that we've built up. And we do this so it doesn't overproof. I'm just gonna do it with my bench scraper because I don't want to get my hands dirty yet. Okay, now that the air is out, now we can form it back. And now divide in half. If you want to be really accurate, you could always use a scale to measure out the weight of each side of the dough. Yeah, this is like so much more brown this week, Bonk, compared to the last time we made it. Okay, and now I'm just gonna roll this. Kind of give you an example. So we're gonna roll it up so that the log can fit into here. And really important as we do this to not trap too much air bubbles in. Do I want to do this way? I think so. We'll just keep going. It's gonna try to go into this other piece of dough, but that's fine. And then I always keep the scraper here because yeah, this is a sticky dough. Lift it up, give it a little stretch to keep this even, right, as we roll it. And like, don't worry too much about how it looks at this point. It's gonna look pretty dang ugly. Just get it scooped into the bread pan, trust, it'll be okay. And then the only other thing I watch for is that the seam where we were rolling is on the bottom of the pan. Boom. I'm gonna try and lift this up and turn it like that. I do have the ice cream maker attachment. I haven't lived anywhere yet where I have a deep freeze though. So I haven't been able to, let's say, use it properly. Because I find that the freezer that's attached to the fridge does not freeze it enough to the point where it can actually churn out a really nice ice cream. At least from the time that we've tried it, but there are some people in my community on Twitch that have the attachment, I think, and it's worked really good for them. But yeah, I really want to try it again. Just that's the only thing I felt that happened when I used it the first time. Was trying to use it and freeze it in a fridge freezer. You're not gonna get it to the like minus 30 that you need. And then the whole thing about making ice cream is trying to freeze the ice crystals as fast as possible, right? So if you don't get that churner frozen enough, it's just gonna take so long to freeze the ice cream that the product won't be good anyways. So that's why the ice cream makers, the big industrial ones that will make ice cream in 10 minutes, that's why they're so expensive. Is because they do the job quick and it makes such a phenomenal product every single time. Okay, so now guys, we're just gonna coat or cover these with a clean dish towel. And they're gonna proof one more time. I put on the list about 15 to 30 minutes until the dough is just hitting the top of the pan. So if I hold this up, you want it to be just even. Otherwise, I find that it might overproof. And then your little bread loaves are gonna fall. Okay, let's get back to these caramelized onions. Look at those. Nice. It's like I always know when they need a stir. Guys, I think we can do the vinegar and sugar now. Look at that. Yep, it's time. And then it's gonna make it so good and saucy. So I'll add the vinegar first, and then I'll go grab some sugar. That's balsamic vinegar that they gave us. Little spoonful of brown sugar. I had some vinegar on my fingies. Whew! That smells so strong when you just pour the vinegar. Shouldn't need much more than a tablespoon worth. Stir that in and then taste it, and they should be good to just pour out. into a fridge-proof container. Let's see. It's gonna be really hot, so I'm gonna let it cool down a touch. Mmm. That's so good. It's like onion candy. I'm taking that off the heat. Buttery, sweet, not too vinegary at all, and not too salty either. Nom. Another thing done. My wonderful people, what's next? Let's look at the list. Hi, Kermit. How are you doing today? Welcome in. Okay, we proofed the bread an hour. They've now been divided into the loaf pans, and we're proofing it for another 15 to 30 minutes. And then we need the oven on at 425 Fahrenheit to bake these. So it's a high bake temp for bread. We did our potato wedges. We caramelized the onions. Now we're gonna form our burger patties, which I did see, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's breadcrumbs in these burgers. I'm gonna leave the breadcrumbs out of the burgers. I just don't really like that texture at all. Oh, so that is why they gave us 2 of these. And then actually some of this. So the smoked paprika garlic seasoning goes in with the meat with some salt and pepper. And then we make 4 patties for the 4 buns. I'm gonna see how much meat we have for the 4 patties. We might just end up with 2 burger patties. And then our barbecue mayo. Patty. This is this. So 500 grams of ground beef. If we divide that into 4, that's not that much at all, guys. Should I make 3 patties maybe out of it? Would be the best option. Do we want to use the burger press? Probably. Always makes the best burgers. This is a burger press, guys. When you open it up, you can set this. The heck? Well, the sticker came off underneath. You can set that to different thicknesses for the size of your burger. And then you just put the paper pieces in between to keep the meat away. It works so dang good. And then all you have to do is like ball your meat first. And then that does the work the rest of the way. I'm just gonna do this on a couple plates, I think. You're frustrated? You went out to get barbecue, which is 5 minutes from you. Your car wouldn't start. No, and then you locked yourself out of your car out of frustration. I've done that before in high school. It was the worst day ever, and it was like the middle of winter too. I'm sad for you, friend. That is so frustrating. It's like, how could this happen? So AAA went to you, but they couldn't start your car either? No. Okay, this, sometimes it's like an easy peel, but I find it never works. Can we get into here? Well, at least you still got the barbecue at the end of the day. But like, car troubles are some of the most stressful. I'm gonna pick this out of the pack just because there's some juices, some purge underneath. Your cousin's coming over in a few hours to help you. Yay. Yeah, hopefully a simple fix. Okay, so our ground beef. We're gonna make 3 patties today from this, I think. We'll see how big they end up being. The thing with burgers is you still have to match the patty to the size of the bun. But I don't like when the burger patties are really, really thin. You got ribs, brisket, and 1 jalapeno cheddar sausage. Nice. Although, yeah, it's like almost barbecue sacrilege when you have to come home and reheat it in the oven. We know this, but sometimes it's out of your control, right? Okay, so 3 pretty even balls of meat. Just gonna wash my hands. Keep the cross-contamination here to a minimum. And I think, guys, we're gonna turn on our oven and get that heating up. Now, come over here. Go 1. I'll do this as my dirty hand. And you go 1. And then we always press with the clean hand too. Let's see how this setting is for this size. I feel like we'll have to make it smaller. Yeah. So it didn't really press out. Wash my hand one more time. We'll adjust it. So then how we adjust it is up here. And then I'm gonna turn this to make it go down. Flatter. Let me screw it back on. Let's see now. That's better. Nice. So it filled out the whole thing is what we're looking for. Let me just take that out. Do the next one. Cheddar jalapeno sausages. Like, oh, that's my favorite. Smokey. So dang good. That one was really big. The barbecue spot's only been open for 2 months. That's awesome. Is it like your go-to spot now? Patties. We got them on deck. Wash up our hands from the raw meat. I'm glad we did the 3 patties, because I think if we did 4, it wouldn't have been enough. We would have just had 2 double burgers. Put that away. How's Wilson today? Welcome in, dude. It's good to see you. We're currently in Burgerland, and I totally didn't put the seasoning in because I don't like mixing up my meat for patties. But we can season them with this. So if we take off our papers, we'll pour some of that seasoning with salt and pepper on the one side. I think that will be good. You made some turkey burgers this week and they were so good. What did you put in them? I have like a special turkey burger recipe that people love. Okay, so our smoked paprika garlic seasoning. A little bit more on the burgers. I'm gonna cut a really small opening for this so it distributes nicely. Hello? There we go. So this is also what we put on the potatoes for roasting. We've come full circle. Looks good. Should I save this? Maybe. I don't know for what, but always a good idea. Now we'll do some salt and pepper, and then the burgers are basically ready to cook. Let all that soak in. Garlic salt, black pepper, steak sauce, chili powder. Nice thing about turkey, right, is it will really take on any flavor you put with it. One of my favorites, which is kind of like holiday-esque, I guess, in my turkey burger is turkey with dried cranberries, fresh dill, crumbled feta cheese. That's one of my go-tos, and everyone usually goes nuts for it. You're thinking about dreadlocking your beard? Let's go. Greek. How cool is that? Is that not a process? That sounds like a process of processes. Okay, wiping the board again. Our bread is rising up over here, so it's a good thing we turned the oven on, guys, because those are almost ready to go in. You wear a braid in it anyways? Oh, well, there you go then. That's not that much different, I guess. You would eat this right now. It looks good, right? Like, all of the HelloFresh food has been fantastic this time. Next up, while we're waiting, guys, we're gonna make our barbecue mayo. And that's pretty much it, other than cooking and finishing everything. And we just have some mixed greens for the burgers to put on, that's it. Get a container. We'll squeeze this stuff out and mix it up. Do I know anyone that's bought a KitchenAid mixer secondhand? I don't. Never secondhand. I've got a hand-me-down before from a grandparent, but that's about the closest thing, I think. Any tips for inspecting the unit? I think the most important thing that I've heard about the KitchenAids is the gear that's inside of it. Is inspecting that gear if you can, to see like how worn it is, how it's been maintained. Because I've heard that that's the one thing that will break in a KitchenAid. Some of the gears I think are plastic and other ones are metal. And other than that, you would probably want to go by how it sounds. The new ones have plastic. Thank you, Wilson. You're welcome, Kermit. I hope that helps. But I would say if you're gonna go secondhand KitchenAid, go for the old ones. They're gonna be a little bit smaller in size, but in my experience, they will outlast the newer ones. Which is kind of crazy to think, right? Okay, we got our mayo. And they just said to add half of the barbecue sauce. Sorry, they said actually use all of the barbecue sauce in here for 4 portions. That seems like a lot. So I'll probably add what I think is necessary. Yeah, like the old KitchenAid Greek that my grandma handed down to me was a beast. It did so much better than the newer one. And like I even used it in the restaurant for a while until it got to the point where it was like starting to just like make a different noise. And I didn't want to break it, right? Working at the restaurant. But I was so dang impressed with it. Just get what I have, I guess, right? But I don't think they can afford that, Wilson. Because I'm pretty sure the incarcerum is like, what, $700-800? In this economy? I don't think I could buy one now. Taste it. We won't do more barbecue sauce than that. That's good. Otherwise, it's just gonna taste too barbecue-y and not mayo. Check on that. Put that just with the mixed greens. That's to finish our burger. Yeah, $7.49 USD. It is totally an investment. Totally. And you guys should know that after all these years watching me use it, right? Okay. Just our buns. We will have to... I mean, usually they kind of come, like, pre-cut the buns. Sometimes it's not cut through enough, so I'll cut those open for us. Alright, so we'll be starting with our wedges in the oven with the bread. I think I'll put the bread loaves on a sheet pan too, just for ease of taking them in and out of the oven. So those will bake together. And then when we're close to them being finished, then we can cook the burgers. But look at how beautiful that's looking already, proofing up. Guys, these I think are gonna turn out better than the last ones. Oh my goodness. I always keep the towel on though, as they're proofing up, just so it doesn't get too dry and then cracks. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break while we're waiting. I'll be right back. Hello? It's me. I've returned. And like, it's hot in here, so I think I'm gonna get a fan going. Ridiculously hot in here. Okay, from the listing we've seen on the stand mixer, a lot of them seem barely used. Ooh, interesting. They could have been a Christmas present or wedding gift that was barely used. I mean, we did get a second incarcerum once upon a time during COVID because a lady bought it when she was off work, right? When no one could go to work, you're not allowed. So she bought it to do some baking and learn some stuff at home. And then a month later, well, everyone was back to work, right? So then it was only used for a month, but she sold it for half price. That was a no-brainer, for sure. We had to drive a little bit of a ways to get it, but still, worth it. All right, I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes before we put the bread in, so let's cut open our buns. We'll get our plates out and we'll get our pan ready for the burgers. And then I think I'll just leave the caramelized onions in the pan so that we can heat it up again and have them warm. And then optional always, okay, so that's where it's like half cut open. Optional always to toast your buns, guys, up to you. But I would just toast them in a toaster. If you had the option, that's the easiest. I don't like when they cut the buns like this because there's so much more of the bun we could have used. It's like, why is it a 1/4 inch thick on the bottom? It's not gonna hold up to the burguesa. One thing, yeah, about toasting the buns is I find that it usually holds up better when you do build it into a burger. It won't fall apart as much. Toasting adds some structure. Holy, you got some sausages today, 99 pence for a pack of 8. What is going on over at Lidl? I'm gonna cut this bun way farther up where I feel like it should be cut. You've been making egg muffins with English muffins for breakfast. Your own McMuffin, Wilson, since those are insanely expensive now too. What did we see the other day? It's like a McDonald's like 2 can dine deal. The coupons is like 25 bucks now for 2 meals at McDonald's. Please. Fresh eggs for $4 a dozen, $5 for 8 muffins. Oh, you're living, dude. Holy shit, the bread's about to overproof, so let's get it in the oven. The bread, I'm gonna put on the top rack of the oven and we'll put the wedges on the bottom. Oh, I just have to move the rack because it was up by the broiler. You miss the dollar menu so much. Can we even call them the good old days? I hate like thinking that all of the good days we've already had. So I think they can still be good. There we go. Nice. Okay, I'm also gonna put the patatas in too. Get them cooking. Load it up. We ain't got time to wait. I'm gonna pack up 2 of these buns for now, just in case we don't use them. Onions over. The dollar days are gone. Pandemic and insane inflation made sure of that. What was the one company that I was so impressed with? Arizona iced tea, guys. Have not raised their prices. Aren't they still 99 cents a can? And the owner of the company is just like, I'm not raising the price. Even though everyone else has raised theirs, it just doesn't make sense. £9 for fish at the Chippy there in the UK. What? 3 fish? It's because Arizona iced tea is privately owned. Yeah, they never sold out, right? It just goes to show that it is possible. If you're a large company like that, you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Did they say they were gonna have to go up to $1.29? I haven't seen that article, Bonk. This was maybe about a month ago now. So maybe there has been talks since then. I'm not really too sure. But I always find that stuff interesting. Okay. We got our beautiful brazier pan. I don't think we'll need the lid for just searing burgers. And then we could load that up right now while we're waiting with our, just some tallow to sear the burgers up with. Corporations are the devil. If we could just go back to the bartering system, everything would be hunky-dory. Those have been my favorite interactions in my life. Is when you exchange your services for goods. Okay, they're not increasing the price. It's still 99 US cents. The $1.29 is, yeah, our Canadian dollars. Because our dollar sucks. Okay, this is one thing I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna admit it right now. We may or may not have used up the cheddar cheese for these burgers that they sent with the kit in another meal by accident. So I did go to the store today and just pick up some Monterey Jack. I was like, what's gonna go good with like smoky burgers and caramelized onions? Because they didn't have any slices of cheddar cheese at the store. I was like, what the heck? It was all sold out, just the shelf empty. Burger weekend over here. But I thought Monterey Jack jalapeno would be so dang good. You'll let it slide? Phew. But yeah, we can't forget the cheese with the burgers. Hello? Okay, I didn't set a timer for anything in the oven, so let's get 15 minutes on the clock. Just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. And I think we're good, guys. They finish the burgers on a sheet pan with the cheese in the oven. And that's where they toast the buns too. But I'm just gonna finish the burgers in the pan like that and toast the buns in the toaster. You would prefer the pepper jack, to be honest. Yeah, they sent, it was a shredded cheddar cheese. So I think actually what we bought is gonna turn out better. Plates. What kind of plates? I think for burgers, I really like to plate them on the diner style, like enamel coated plates. Get those out of the dishwasher, they're clean. Dun, 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 dun. I do have some small tomatoes if we want to like slice up some tomato or pickle to go with the burger. We can. I'm gonna ask Samuel. Do you want anything extra on the burgers?
Nope.
Well, are you gonna eat the caramelized onion? Okay, so all it comes with is barbecue mayo, cheese, and mixed greens. So would you like me to slice up some tomato and pickle for you? We started with a no, and then we're at the sure. Mickey's fish had more babies? What is going on in that fish tank? We can't even keep up. I said we had to make a Greek salad today because look at these cherry tomatoes. Are getting wrinkly. Gotta use up all the yummy farmer's market stuff. Mickey, you're not sure what to do with them all. Can you, like, sell them? The extra fish? I've never been in the fish tank and aquarium business before. We're learning. The oven smells amazing, guys. It smells so good. People buy fish, Wilson. Yeah, that's what I thought. You can sell it back to the pet shop or wherever you bought them from. I'm gonna slice these tomatoes with this knife because they're quite soft and I want to get them pretty nice and thin. These are not the best tomatoes to use on a burger. You usually like to use a really big tomato so that you can just do one slice. Whenever you do multiple tomato slices in a burger, they will typically like slide out as you're trying to eat it. I'm aiming for around 4. 4 per burger should be good. They're so small. Your neighbor has a house full of aquariums and terrariums, a 250-gallon saltwater tank. Oh my gosh. I don't know what my grandpa had as far as an aquarium, but think about this. I don't even know what to like call this house. Maybe a split level was my grandparents' house when I was growing up. And so you like go in the entrance, right? And then you just have like a little landing and then there's one set of stairs down and one up is the split level. And so then the upstairs, as you go to the like main floor, the whole part from the front entrance to the house to the like end of the stairs was a massive aquarium and like a built-in like cabinet and stuff. This is what I remember. Like one of my favorite things to just go over and watch the fishes. Hi CJ Dewey, how are you doing? That rhymed and it was perfect. They are farmers market tomatoes. It's like candy almost. So I always just eat the tomato butts, I call them. We're slicing up some extra condiments for our burgers. Because we had tomatoes to use, so I thought that would be good. Put those up there. Next, we'll take a couple pickles out. Does everyone like pickles with their burgers? Or is that a thing where people start to get a bit picky about? Like, I've always been a lettuce, tomato, pickle gal. But is that a thing? So different from the the Loblaws tomatoes. Yes, for sure. Like these, oh man. They're so nice you can almost like see through them. like stained glass tomato. And they're pretty much, if not the same price or less expensive than the store, I've found. Wilson says nope, like you're not a pickle man. That's what the nope means. That should be good. I just had a sneaky sneeze, guys. Thanks, Samuel. Same prices, but going to the farmer. That's what I try to do, at least for produce. I've been really trying to support the farmer's market. Because it's not farther to even drive to the market, right? But I still, at this time in my life, I still can't quite afford to buy the meats from the market. You're always going to spend more money if you go to the farmer's market because that is there for convenience for the consumer, right? The farmer doesn't have to do that. They'll still sell their food straight from their farm anyways. But that is something that I know as far as the meats go, for sure. But if you buy directly from the farm, you'll save more money that way. Especially if you buy like half of a animal, half of a cow, half of a pig. One thing that I've noticed that's kind of like trending at the market right now is people making sausage and charging a monstrosity of price for the sausage in the casing. I don't understand that one. But I guess that is for sure something that a lot of people don't like to make themselves at home. Once again, paying for the convenience of having it done. And we can probably say that the sausage at the regular grocery store now is not near the same quality as from the farmer too. You have a very sensitive palate, Wilson. You can't handle sour or heat. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, 5 minutes on this. How are we doing? The bread looks insane, you guys. It's like this tall above the pan already. Whereas the last ones that we made barely even rose. So when I said that they're gonna turn out better, I'm not lying. You remember your grandma's old German sausages compared to anything by the store nowadays. It's totally like a texture thing for me and how they grind the meat that goes into the sausage. Careful when buying half a cow, Wilson says. Make sure you see a picture of the animal. Some people will sell, an unhealthy animal that isn't very large. Oof. Good point. That would be so sad. Peppermint burns your mouth. You have a very sensitive palate then. Like, I thought my brother's partner, Louise, had a sensitive palate to, like, hot peppers and stuff. Like, she gets physical, like, pain when she eats jalapeno. But dang, there's other people out there too. Happened to your friend, they paid for a half cow, got a quarter of it of only normal meat that was usable. And that's the thing, right? Is you can't just like go back to the person because how are you gonna get your money back? You already paid for it. They're not gonna give it back. That's crazy. I think around here we're pretty safe because this is the area in Canada that is like very well known for raising beef, and I don't think that a large-scale farmer like the ones that I've kind of researched is going to like throw themselves under the table like that, right? Yeah, pick a reputable or reliable butcher or farmer. Do your research. I always look at reviews and what other people say about stuff. Keep that in mind though, like always take your reviews with a grain of salt. You don't know how everyone lives and what they like. We're all different. But the reviews are definitely helpful. Three moments to wait. Mostly just waiting on potatoes, guys. I can't believe how fast everything came together. Usually I time it out better. But that was not the case today. And that's okay. We just do our best and we'll forget the rest. Maybe starting to cool off in here. Let me see if I can turn this fan a bit more. Get some air circulation going. He bought the cow, okay, off of Facebook, and the picture was of it when he bought it. What the heck? Yeah, I don't know if I would buy meat off of Facebook Marketplace because of some of the things that have happened around here, Wilson, is pretty sketchy. Like, just recently, in the last couple months, we've had people get shut down for trying to sell baby goats out of their garage without being, like, licensed or anything. It's been wild living in the middle of the city. There was the whole argument, though, like, with hunters and stuff. Okay, you're gonna basically do the same thing, right? When you go hunt, you have to hang your meat, all that stuff. But the hunters are not then selling it after for other people to consume. It's usually for yourself and your family, right? You're not trying to make money off of it when you do it that way. I can't believe the risk, though, that people are willing to take. Like, I am so scared of making people sick off of food that I give them. I can't imagine, like, that's so ballsy to try and do that. But I guess you don't care, right? Who knows, though? It could have been some amazing goat meat. We honestly don't know, right? Okay, gonna get rid of our olive oil since we're almost there. We're gonna check the bread in 20 seconds with a thermometer and see what the internal temp is. Maybe give our potatoes a poke too while we're in there. And we can possibly start this burger train. Nice, potatoes are sizzling. Guys, this should be the halfway point on the bread. Look at how good they look. A massive improvement from last time. Okay, internal temp 120 right now, so we have a ways to go. Not a long ways, just a ways. Let's put that back in the oven. I'll swivel the sheet pan around to get even baking. And I think I'll do another 10 minutes. And then the patates. That's been a 15-minute on those two. I'm just gonna poke them with a paring knife. Okay, so they're a little bit crunchy in the center still. Maybe we're halfway there. Turn up the oven a little bit. I'm gonna go right all the way up to 450 Fahrenheit, guys. It was at 430 before this. Okay, so in about 10-15 minutes, everything's gonna be done in the oven. I think that's a pretty good amount of time if we start heating up the pan for the burgers and getting them going, because they will have to rest a little bit before we build it all and assemble it. So let's turn that on. We're gonna go a medium-high heat to start the burgers for searing. So we got nice browning, and then we can always turn it down after that. Nice. Let me get a little bit closer. There. And there's those. Ew, I just seen a fly in here. Gross. My fly radar is going off, guys. Bane of my existence. I'm looking on Twitch, seeing who else is on. Hello, who's this? I wasn't watching. It's Looky Lucille. Thank you very much, friend, for the 41 months in a row. You're getting up there. How's your weekend going? We're just getting ready to start cooking some burgers. Everything in the oven is almost ready. Our bread and our potato wedges. And then I'm also looking on Twitch, doing a little bit of browsing, I guess we can say. Maybe we'll go raid someone after. This is smelling good. I think I'll turn on the fan just a little bit. And so we want this fat pretty much smoking before we put the meat in the pan. Want it really, really nice and hot. So don't rush. Okay, it's smoking, guys. I'm gonna start with this one. It's pretty thick. I think it's the biggest burger patty. And then we're gonna drop that in, and we're gonna give it a good press down into the pan. And then we're not gonna move it. For a little bit. Bop! Exactly that. What they said. And there is a little bit of smoky garlic paprika seasoning on this one side with the salt and pepper. That might make the burger brown quicker, just keep that in mind. I'm not too sure if there's any sugary seasoning in there or what. Thank you, my friend, for the 500 bits as well. We're now at 83% of the way through our goal for our next IRL stream. Washing my hands. The weekend's going great, Lucky says. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Ours is too. Titan, is your burger ready? It's in the pan. It's in the pan, my man. So I already seasoned the one side, so I don't think I'm gonna season this other one. We can always add more seasoning after. Okay, while we're waiting, open up our cheese. Get that ready for melting. I might do a double cheese amount on each one. It's a 2 cheese slice. It's a double cheeser. And then I usually watch, because you can see as the burgers are cooking, right, how much it's cooked through. About halfway, and then we can flip it. We're almost there. And then we have strategic cheesing that needs to happen. You'll take yours medium well. I don't know if I would serve this meat to you medium well, because I didn't grind it. How does this look? That looks pretty dang good. See what I mean about not letting that stuff burn? There might be some sugar in that little spice mix. Here in Canada, the rule for burgers is you have to cook everything well done, unless you're grinding the meat fresh yourself every single morning. And even then, some people will still call the health inspector on you, saying that you served them a raw burger. You have smash burger anxiety? So I talk about that a lot, actually, Captain Taft. And I'm just going to turn this burner off now. We'll cook the rest on the residual heat. I don't like when people smash the burger so thin to the point where it's not like, there's no like chewy, meaty texture anymore. It's just like a layer of crisped beef. I don't like when that happens. But some people love that for some reason. I guess to each their own. So I got another clean plate now. Just watching for these to finish. They still got a ways to go. So same with like cooking a steak, right? Is after you flip it, if the juices, you start seeing blood pooling up to the surface, you're at the medium rare stage. Once that blood starts pooling, obviously you let it go a little bit longer, you'll get closer to medium and then well done. But that's always a good thing to watch for when you cook steak. As soon as that blood pools after you flip it, you're at medium rare. And then I just kind of watch the size of the burger to the bun. And that looks like they'll all fit really good. I don't know if we'll flip these one more time before I put the cheese on, or we can finish it in the oven. Is another way I like to finish burgers. But I'll usually only have to do the oven finish with the burgers if we're making a lot of them, like, what, 6 or more? Five minutes on our timer, guys. I think this is gonna be perfect. Don't want to even open the oven. Don't let the air out. I know I said at the beginning of the stream it was kind of poopy and cloudy and gray out, but things have turned around. Looks like a really perfect day out now. Funny how that happens. Another thing you can do is you can always use your instant read thermometer. Like, there's a lot of liquid still on this one. So we're just getting to like medium. Let them go a bit more. I think that'll be perfect, actually. Just that residual heat. Just slowly finishing them. And then they'll rest at the same time, too. It's storming there. Dang. We had a couple of rainy days this week that felt good. And it was mostly raining, like, overnight. This one patty, I don't know what happened to it, but it is not round anymore. Okay, we're cheesing. I didn't want to put it on too early and then it just melts off of the burger. And yes, I did a double stack of the Monterey Jack on there. I just thought it was necessary. Why not? I'll probably do an ovenize just at the last minute to finish those off. We're almost there, friends. Juicy cheeseburgers. I will say, it felt nice to make caramelized onions today. I haven't done that in a long time. And they turned out amazing, actually. I still got it, guys. Alright, 2 minutes left. I want to check the bread. Nice, because it is starting to brown on top. This is looking so good, you guys. Look at the bread. Scoots. Titan just makes his way through everyone's yards mowing. Okay, bread is at 167. So we still have to go longer. I usually like my bread to be at 195. So the bread's not even done yet, guys. I'm gonna do another swivel in the oven. And then, since our burgers are done, let's give our wedges a poke. One more time. I always go for the really big one, because if that one is cooked through, then the rest of them are too, right? We're just getting there, it looks like. I'm gonna just take that one and eat it, see how I feel. Potato tester. Don't burn your face. Couple more minutes. I'm going to toast the buns though, guys. And we can start dressing those and get the burger on them. Bald head little girl. Looks so great. Wish I didn't have to work today. You want to make this? Maybe you can make it tomorrow instead. And what do you do for work? It's true, Titan. I'd mow Kate's lawn for food in return, but she doesn't have a lawn. Nope. I'm free. Easy living on my end. Okay, this is what we're gonna do to finish the burgers. We're gonna scoop our caramelized onions onto the cheese, and then we'll just do a quick stint in the oven. I'm only gonna actually onion one for myself, because I know Sam is not gonna eat it with the caramelized onions on it. He's not a huge onion man, even though caramelized onions are so delicious. Those came out insanely good. Thank you for the follow, friend. Did it freeze? Nope. No, we just checked out the potatoes and the bread. Almost there, but not quite. And now we're gonna come back over. We got our building station for the burgers. Ooh, like crispy sort of onions, you're saying, Bonk? That would work good too. It would also add some extra texture. Titan. Onions and garlic might be why I can't find a date. You just haven't found the right person yet. It's okay. Okay, a little toasty on the bun, just to create a barrier so things don't fall apart. And then if I know Sam, he's just gonna go regular mayo. So we can do that. And you usually sauce the top and the bottom bun. In my mind, usually it seems like it's gonna be too much, but it ends up never being too much. And then I'm gonna do the barbecue mayo that came with the HelloFresh kit on mine. Next, we will do our spring mix as another barrier from the bun getting soggy. And it looks really good, what they sent. So let's check it out. Regular mayo is QP Scoots? No. Put mustard on Sam's? No. Why you want to make him sad? Why you want to make Samo sad? Usually I'll pick through the mixed greens because there's always a couple gross bits like that. It happens. It's just a mixed green thing. That as soon as you pick them, the cells are broken already, so they start going bad pretty much. And we don't want that in our burgesa. Oh, I see your method to the madness, Titan. Oh, that one too. So if you put mustard on Sam's burger, then he won't eat it and you can have it. Evil. Evil genius. What else we got here? Pile it up. Remember when, like, mixed greens was one of the only lettuces people would eat? It's, like, trending for so long. And in my mind, it's, like, one of the worst lettuces. It's mostly always soggy. Just gonna put the rest of that back in. Ah! It messed up the board. Okay, now we'll do, this was not with the HelloFresh kit, but we had it in the house, so I thought it would be yummy. some tomato and pickle. That's why we put our barrier of lettuce and mayo, so that the pickle and the tomato doesn't make the bun soggy. And same with the burger juices too, when you eat it. It is a HelloFresh meal. They have kindly sponsored us from mid-August to mid-September. And we've been having some fun cooking this up together. We haven't done it, I think the last one we did was about 5 or 6 months ago, the HelloFresh meal. So it's nice to see if like things change over those months or what. Soggy is bad, definitely. Okay, I'm going back over. I'm hoping the bread's done and then we can just ovenize the burger for a sec. Because yeah, that's gotten a lot darker since we put them back in. I'm gonna take one more attempt. On this side. Okay, 195, we're good. And then lastly, just a quick little re-show. While the potatoes finish. So let me move this for a sec. And then we're gonna take the bread, really important, when you bake bread in loaf pans like that, you have to take it out of the pan right away. Otherwise, it will keep steaming around the edges and it can make it soggy. So we did spray these with nonstick. They should just pop right out. Awesome, like that. Just put the hot pan somewhere safe. And then usually I'll pop these up on like an oven rack so that they're not sitting right on the surface of the sheet pan. It smells so good, guys, and they feel so nice and soft too. Because we were saying when it costs $9 for a loaf of good quality sourdough bread, ouch, from the bakery now, I'm just gonna keep making my own. It's like everything that you go to buy now is like minimum $10. It doesn't matter what it is. Welcome to Canada, guys. It's wild. It's like we can't keep up. I can't even get a liter of cream anymore for like under $5. I think it was $8 or something. It's like, somebody please help me. We need to move. Oh, trust, we have been thinking about it. All right, look at that. Cheese looks beautifully melted now. Just a little kiss of heat is all it needed. Sambo? It's time. I didn't even take the final temp of these guys. We just assumed that they were perfect with how they finished up. And I would say they are. I have another patty, but maybe we can split it. That's all I got though. And then if you wait a moment, We probably have potato wedges. Can you hear them, guys? They're screaming.
Not yet.
What? Not yet?
Are we good?
I think we're okay.
Yeah, we're good. Oh, thanks.
He spotted the loaves. I got warm again. I can put them in back in though for a little bit longer now. She's ready. Just the residual heat, I suppose. Friends. Friendos, how did I cook it? Good? How did I cook it? That's the worst question ever. Oh my god, it's too juicy. We cooked it too good. We'll go back to this so it's not just Sam's face. It's tasty? Can you taste the bit of seasoning I put? That's how big the burger ended up being, guys. That's not that small. Is it cheaper made bread though with the bread maker, Mickey? Probably not. I would say it's no different than what you buy at the regular store. Can you move to the left a bit, please? You're good? I'm scared. Where do we start? It's a thick boy I made. Mmm. Mmm. I did such a good cook on that. What the heck? Guys, I don't think I could have done better. Oh my god, that tastes good. The caramelized onions I made. I don't trust other people making them, but oh, on this burger, and like the texture of the patty was so nice and soft, hey? Because we didn't overwork the meat. All I did was take the meat out of the package, form it into 3 sized balls, and press them. That's it. We didn't put the breadcrumbs in. We didn't put any seasonings to mix in. We put that all on the outside.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
The bun is really nice and light. I like that. And so we added the tomato and pickle, which I think was a good idea. And the greens are nice and fresh. It is so good, guys. I do love, too, when the burger juices start to drip on your fries or whatever your side is and it, like, soaks it in.
That's great burger meat this time. It ain't shit. Truly.
We know the rules. Sam's just trying to crop dust the food. That's my one rule, though, in the kitchen. You knew the ketchup would show up at some point? I used to do that all the time, Bonk. I was so obsessed with like a couple drops of Frank's in the ketchup. Really used to be obsessed with that. And yeah, I'm glad I mixed in some of the farmer's market taters to that pan. Otherwise, we maybe wouldn't have had enough. I'm excited to see how these taste with ketchup. They turned out
Perfect sized burger to the bun too.
right. Like, I didn't think making 4 patties you would feel full off of them. And I don't think that we eat too big of portions either, guys. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is that the protein options for HelloFresh are a little bit smaller sized. And that's really the only thing I can say. Sometimes. Right, because we felt that the quesadillas we made the other day with the ground pork, there was too much food again. So it's interesting. Potatoes like pop in your mouth with mashed potatoes. And yeah, we just needed a little bit more salt than what we put.
Cholula is my favorite hot sauce.
Cholula's your favorite, really?
After you introduced it to me.
After I showed Samo, that's his fave now. A nutritionist, right, would say eat half of the burger and half of the potatoes. Which I guess, like, if I go off of my eating tendencies, that is the amount that I eat per portion. I will never just sit down and finish this whole plate. I eat pretty small portions. So, like, I'll eat half of this now. In an hour or two, it'll then be devoured, the rest of it. But yeah, very good burger. I'm very impressed with everything today. And we still have one more, like, smaller patty, too, that we can split. Squidge! Chipotle Cholula is danky. Thank you. Chipotle anything is good.
That was a perfect burger. Not gonna lie.
Everything's been great so far.
Yeah.
We haven't had one bad meal yet, guys, from what we ordered. I'm so happy.
My favorite so far was this one.
Oh yeah, we took that one off stream, and then guys, look at our bread loaves. We'll slice into those tomorrow on stream, I think. Show them off for Samo. Put Chipotle on a flip-flop and he'll eat it. Anything. He'll put that shit on anything. I love it. Oh, Franks. Drink more, cook less. How's it going? Okay, guys, that's it. Another stream complete. Amazing. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, cooking it up again. We got some baking to do tomorrow. We're gonna make a cake. We haven't done any really like sweet baking in a bit. So we're gonna make this insane whipped cream dream cake. The recipe's already linked in Discord if you go search for it. And then some Baja style salmon tacos from HelloFresh tomorrow to go with it. It's your B-Day tomorrow? Yes. Exciting. We'll be here together. Okay, did I find someone that I wanted to go raid earlier? I don't know. Are there any suggestions? Let me know, guys. I sometimes love to go off of the recommended communities. We've met some pretty awesome streamers through the recommendations. There's just so much options. Sometimes it's hard to choose. Thanks, Cameras. Yeah, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with us. I think I know where we're gonna go. I found a new channel. It's called California Burbs. Backyard Burbs and Good Friends. It's just like an animal watching stream, but I want to go see it. California Burbs. Sure, I write that right? Boom. Okay. We've never been here before. It's been created, my friends. This is gonna be fun. I'm excited. Okay, Bonk, thanks for posting the raid and the sub raid. I said we'll be back tomorrow, guys. 11 a.m. Pacific, cooking it up again. I hope that we inspired you today with our deliciousness. And make sure to check out the recipes from HelloFresh if you want to make this for yourself and not order from them. That's always an option too, right? Let's go watch some burbs. Go hang out for the rest of the day. Take it easy. Stay safe out there. Love y'all. Thank you just for being here with us and spending time out of your weekend. That's what means the most out of anything. All right, I'm gonna hit that button. Be safe out there. And I'll see you next time. Bye!